everyone, I'm Bridget Indelicato of Mindful Gardening and the Innisfil Seed Library, and I'm going to be making my go-to one-pot meal, roasted root vegetables and sausage. It's perfect to scoop into a bowl and cozy up to watch a movie. Here's what you'll need, and I'll include this information in the description of the video.
Get out my hair. Get out my hair.
You'll want to preheat your oven to 425. Now let's get started cutting some veggies, starting with our onion. This is a gorgeous French rose. You can use any sweet onion. Sweet yellow onion works nicely as well. I'm going to want to cut these thinly. Now we're going to add some olive oil to our pan. I love using my cast iron. I find food cooks so nicely in it. But you can use any oven-safe pot with a lid, or you can use aluminum foil if you don't have a lid. So I'm just going to drizzle that on the bottom. Here's my lovely olive oil. And then I'm just going to sort of use this too to kind of move the olive oil around. And I'm adding the onions on the bottom because I'd like them to crisp up in that oil at the base of this dish. There we go. Now I have this variety of gorgeous root vegetable. I've got beets, carrots, and potatoes. And these lovely organic vegetables were grown right here in town at Cookstown Greens. So I'm really excited to be using their product. Now I'm going to leave the peeling on them because there is actually a lot of nutrition in the peel. So I'm just going to cut off the ends. And just sort of roughly chop. Look at that gorgeous color. Now, as you're cutting up these veggies, I want to cut them in similar size so that they cook evenly. They all have similar density, so they should cook at the same rate. And the wonderful thing about this recipe is the more colorful your vegetables, the more beautiful it's going to be. And you can always substitute. You can add different root vegetables, like celery, for example, parsnip. Any root vegetable would just be wonderful in this dish. Lovely white beet. So again, I'm just cutting the ends off and keeping that peel on there. You want to sort of mix it all in there. This is a fun orange one. And again, because I know that these were grown organically, keeping that peel on there is completely fine because I know there aren't any pesticides lurking. Wow, look at that color. And the more colorful your food, the more nutritious. Here's my red beet, it looks like. Look at that lovely color. I believe this is a bullseye. If I cut it the other way, you'd get these nice circles. Again, you don't have to be too precise. This is just rough chop. Try to keep them similar size so that they all cook evenly. These gorgeous red potatoes. I think I'm going to cut it lengthwise. Look at that. Just beautiful. Just flip them over, and again, roughly chop. And of course, you can also adjust quantities depending on how many people you're feeding. I'm feeding 2, but you can adjust your amounts depending on how many mouths you're feeding and how big your pan is. Look at that color explosion. There we go. It's our final bit of vegetable. And root vegetables are easy to grow by seed. You can grow these and make this meal from scratch. There we go. Just going to give my hands a little rinse. So now I will be cutting my sausage. And I'll be doing them in pieces as well, so that they're similarly sized, which makes it easier to eat. As well, when I'm cutting it up, it'll release all those lovely juices and fats and really enhance the flavor of the veggies. So I'm just going to take those 2. And again, similar size. And you can use mild or hot, it really is preference. And it's nice because this can fit on a spoon. We're just going to sort of poke them in between the veggies, letting all those juices release. That's my second one. Before I move on, I'm going to give my hands a little wash since I've been handling meat. Now I'm going to add the lovely, tasty balsamic glaze or balsamic reduction. So just essentially balsamic vinegar and sugar cooked down to a nice, lovely, syrupy goodness. So I'm actually going to measure that. About 2 tablespoons. Or you could just drizzle on top. You're going to just give it a nice slow drizzle. And this just complements the vegetables, and that meat is just such a lovely accompaniment. And of course you can add more of this to your taste, but 2 is a good starting spot. And you can also add it after it's cooked if you feel it needs a little hit. It just really adds such a richness, and it will also enhance the color of this dish. And then you're going to pick your favorite herb. You can use rosemary, basil, thyme. I really like my basil. I grew this at home last season, and then I dry it, and it just makes a wonderful addition. I'm just going to give it a little extra crush here. I like to keep my herb leaves fairly uniform before I use them. I just find it releases its flavor if I crush it up. Almost like coffee when you grind up your coffee beans. There we go. That sweetness again of the basil or whatever herb you're choosing will just really complement that complexity of flavors and that balsamic reduction. And then we'll add some salt again to your taste. And pepper. Now it's ready for the oven. And we're going to put the lid on first and cook it for 30 minutes at 425. So this has been cooking for a half hour, and I'm going to give everything a light toss with these tongs. Oh, it smells incredible. All these colors. What this does as well is it just kind of mixes all the flavors together, gets all those gorgeous veggies to combine, brings the onions up a little. Now there's a fair bit of liquid in here from the veggies and the sausage, so I'm going to be putting this back in the oven uncovered for 15 minutes. And that'll just brown everything, roast it up nicely, dry it up a little bit. Absolutely beautiful. In it goes. Absolute perfection. And there we have it. Roasted root vegetables and sausage, a delicious meal packed with nutrients and just so, so tasty. Thank you so much for watching. Bye now.